a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Michael. Yeah, my name's Richard. I'm a video API support engineer, working with Vonage video APIs for the last almost 7 years, living and breathing video, basically.
Awesome, awesome. And yes, I am your host, Michael, Michael Crump. We've been doing a few of these, and Richard has started to become one of my good friends on the show here as he's been slaying questions left and right for us. Well, anyways, let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. And I've got just a few slides, like I always do. So let me go ahead and jump through each one of these, and then we'll get right into it. So first off, let me just go ahead and say thank you so very much for attending these, and especially those that are watching the live recording of this. There is all kinds of things that's in the background of how maybe we can resurface some of this content for some of the very specific questions that are asked, but this is 100% for you. This is a 60-minute structure. This is what we've been using. It's all about live Q&A or debugging. You can get real-time help from myself, that's in the developer relations team, or obviously Richard, who is working in support engineering and so forth. It's hosted by these two same groups, and it is absolutely hands-on learning, judgment-free, conversational, and 100% practical. So if you've got a question, there is absolutely nothing really off limits here. Any questions that you have, and I've been seeing a lot of AI related stuff, AI related questions. So hopefully a few more of those come in. And if they don't, I might just steer you towards some of the stuff that I have seen that the outreach team and other teams have been working on. Okay, so a little tiny bit of housekeeping here, and that is the normal spiel that I've been doing each and every week. And that is what this is. This is all about participating, not escalating. Simple thing here is that if you have something such as a support ticket that needs to be escalated, or if you have production outages, or if there's some sort of SLA bound issues, this isn't the place for that to be resolved here. You can absolutely give us the ticket number and things like that, and we'll help escalate those sort of things. But really, we're all about just live Q&A, which is the bulk of it. Any question you have asked, we'll try to answer it. And then any sort of debugging or real-time support from DevRel. It's super easy to join. All you need to do is drop questions down in the live chat, and the recordings are available on demand. So if you head over now to the Vonage Dev YouTube channel and you go to live, you will be able to see all of our live past events that we've had and even other series that we've done. And again, urgent issues, visit the Vonage support panel. So I know you probably are tired of hearing me say that. So let's move forward. Okay, so for this kind of season one, we're getting kind of close to the end of the first season. And don't worry, there's going to be other seasons and other sorts of things that you're going to see and appearing on the channel here. But for this one, we've got a session today on the 17th, and then we have one more that's listed. Then this one is for our startup scene. So those of you that has a startup that maybe wants to get some information, I will have Autumn, which is our startup person that will be on the call here, and she will be able to help and assist. And I'll be here too, even though I'm not going to be doing that much except for asking questions. Sessions at a glance. Really, we're all about live QA and problem solving. So we're going to spend the bulk of that. And I will wrap up here with a slide once we leave. And so moving right along, let's go ahead and let's shift over and let's kick off with a quick welcome to Vonage developer video. And as soon as you watch that, go ahead and get your questions entered into the system, and we will be right back. So we'll let that video go ahead and get started here.
Welcome to the Vonage Developer YouTube channel. Vonage developers build and maintain a suite of programmable communications APIs that enable individuals and businesses to embed real-time voice, video, messaging, and authentication features into their applications and workflows. Vonage developers support advanced use cases with network-powered APIs for enhanced security and rich communication services. Just plug in our APIs and let us do the hard work for you. The Vonage developer community is here to help you integrate powerful features into your apps fast. From hands-on tutorials via the Vonage developer blog, to rich developer documentation, migration guides, and deep dive video walkthroughs, we make learning communications APIs fun and accessible. Whether you're coding solo or part of a big team, we've got SDKs for every stack: JavaScript, Python, PHP, and more. And if you ever get stuck, our docs, blogs, and global Slack developer community are just one click away. If you need something urgent, we also have 24/7 dedicated support to help you get on your way. So if you're ready to build something amazing, subscribe to stay updated with the latest content. And don't forget to join our Slack to connect with developers worldwide. You bring the ideas, Vonage brings the tools. Whatever you want to build, Vonage does that.
Excellent there. Let me go ahead and get my screen shared because hopefully we're going to be rocking and rolling with some questions in here. Okay, so now is the chance if you've got any questions to please drop them down into the chat below, and I will be monitoring that as well as a few other people. Let me get a few of my windows adjusted here, and uh, and then we can rock and roll with some of the questions. And if not, I'm going to pick one of the top questions that we've had so far. Okay. All right. So first off, we will let's go ahead and okay. So let's start with this one. It is um, in order to get started with the Vonage APIs. Do you typically have API keys and secrets like others? Is there quick start documentations? And do you support Node.js? Also, can you tell me a little bit more about SMS messages and messages API? Okay, let's start with a couple of things here. So first off, what I want to do is let's get back out of this screen here and let's go to let's head over to this page first. So with this page, this is the all up Vonage Developer Center page. So this is the page that I always land at when I start working in my normal day, mainly because everything is where I need it. So there is documentation here. And so as we go through these, I'll also tell you that there are MCP servers for the documentation that you can use, since we had a few questions about AI, or that one has seemed to kind of come up or pop up a couple of different times. And then right over here, this probably answers the second question. And that one was related to the Node.js. So if you come over here to SDKs and tools, you can scroll down here, or you can use that little chat window thing up there, and you can see all of the different client SDKs that we have, as well as down here, you'll see our server SDKs. And so obviously it's more than just like, you've got Node and you've got Python and Java and so much more, .NET and so much more. So anyways, the answer to that is obviously yes, you can absolutely jump in and start using Node.js. The other thing that sometimes ties in with that, which I always kind of call out while I'm here, especially with this in this section, is that there's also the Vonage CLI. So the Vonage CLI is where you can also maintain all of that within your IDE. So yeah, you might be hearing or seeing a lot more about people that builds entire applications that is using AI. And some folks are doing that and they're very successful with that. But we definitely want you to be able to stay in your native environment as much as you want to. If you want to run everything from a command prompt, we absolutely, we're going to give you the tooling that you can do that.
Vonage's network APIs give you real-time data from mobile carriers, offering intelligence far beyond what you get from the device, and helping you to build trust with your users. These capabilities power solutions like the Verify API and the Identity Insights API. The silent authentication feature in the Verify API provides secure authentication without passwords or one-time passcodes. Users are automatically verified through their mobile network operators based on the data connection from their smartphones. The SIM swap feature in the Identity Insights API checks whether a user's SIM card was recently changed, helping you to flag possible account takeovers and protect your users. Identity Insights also combines carrier-level checks like mobile identity, phone intelligence, and risk signals to confirm users with minimal friction. You can try these APIs now in the Network Registry Sandbox inside the Vonage Customer Dashboard. For more information on network APIs, as well as any of our other APIs and supported programming languages, subscribe to this YouTube channel, join our Slack community, and check out our blog at developer.vonage.com.
Hello. Okay, sorry, we have a little bit of a technical difficulty there. So let me go ahead and share back my screen again. And hopefully y'all learned a little bit there from Jeremy in his video. So let's head back over to my share screen here. And let me know, team, if that is working properly again. And we will keep going from there. Okay, so when what I just left off doing was that I was just answering a question that was related to onboarding and getting themselves onboarded into Vonage, and there was a question about which SDKs did we support, and we just kind of went over that. And I was just kind of navigating into the Vonage CLI, where I was just going to show you that there's a couple of other options, and again, you can do all of this through your IDE or your editor, whatever makes the most sense to you. So going back to the rest of that question, the question about a credit card, no, a credit card is not required in order to get up and started with this. This time I did switch out to another account that had a lot more credit. So if there is anything that we want to play with here today, this time now I've got enough credit and I'm ready to go. But going back to the API keys and secrets, yes, we're absolutely just like a lot of other folks. We've got API keys and secrets that you can use. Obviously, once you generate a secret, you need to make a note of that secret in order to be able to use it. Otherwise, you have to regenerate the token or regenerate it, and you'll have to fix that key everywhere that you placed it. Going back to the easiest way, absolutely, to get started, it would be down here where you see an option that's called build. And so underneath build here, there is a couple of different options. And so you could go to maybe, for example, this messages or messaging where it's send an SMS. And since you were interested more so in Node over here, you could go to this Node tab. And by the way, whatever language that you select is your primary programming language. When you create your account is what this will default to. So mine defaulted to .NET because I come from that space. But then from here, what you'll see is that you can run this npm package install to grab the server SDK and then grab messages. And then it's just a couple of lines of code here. This obviously is a hard-coded sample here, so you would want to include best practices as usual, but it's just this vonage.messages.send, and you give it the type. You can give it the channel. There's other channels here, so this is one using SMS, the number you want to send it to, and then the from Vonage APIs. Now, one thing that does seem to be kind of interesting is that I've had folks at the booth and at other places ask me, hey, how do you get these little, I don't know if it's going to show it or not, but how do you get these little icons up at the top um, of a message? And these are brands. So you can register a brand where you get a icon and you get a little picture, and when you send messages, you can do it with that. So that one has seemed to come up a couple of times. So I just thought I would just include that in here. But yeah, all of these also, they're REST based, and so if you do want to just run these through curl, you can absolutely just run this as just a simple curl command, and you can get an output from there. So anyways, I think I have solved most of those questions. Let me jump back over here and let me see if there are any more questions in here. Okay, let's answer this one. So this one is a little bit more about video. Um, and we have Richard on the line with us. So Richard, I'm seeing, what is the maximum duration of a video session? So we have our video APIs. I'll just switch back over here, and the video page, I believe there, well, there's the SDK. Let's go to documentation, and right here is where you can find all of the documentation for each of the different products. And right here is video. But I will pass that question to Richard. And Richard, can you tell us what's the maximum duration of a video session?
Okay, so that's a really good question, I think, and one that's actually subject to change recently. We've historically we've had a maximum duration set for 8 hours, so that we could cover all day events. But after that, you run into the possibility of servers being taken down and out of service because they've been running for a certain period of time. We run on scalable architecture. So we have recently introduced some new APIs that allow you to circumvent that. So if you're now building, for example, on the events platform, and you need to support sessions longer than 8 hours, so you want to be able to cover breakfast and dinner as well, then you can now use a session migration feature. So you can allow you can enable session migration in the client, and then from your server API, you can issue a command to migrate a session, which will take it from a server that it's been on for the last X number of hours and place it onto a new instance, which will then give you a further, another 8-hour start from there. So you can effectively extend the length of your sessions. I don't want to say indefinitely, because that's not necessarily the case, but you can certainly extend now far beyond the previous 8-hour limits that we had. So that's a really good step forward.
Awesome. So I just learned something. So 8 hours is the duration normally, but as Richard stated, there's a few things that we can do that could possibly extend that.
Absolutely.
Excellent, excellent,
And we
excellent. Yeah.
were talking briefly about the authentication on the APIs before that question came in. I just want to mention as well that within the application setup, you can also authenticate using pre-shared keys. So you can generate a private and public key pair, and then you can use your application ID and your private key to authenticate your server platform to our APIs, so that you're constrained to that particular application. So I think that makes a lot more sense in some scenarios. Certainly when you want to build an application that uses multiple APIs. For example, you may want to build an application that does video communications or video conferences, but you want to be able to send a one-time passcode for people to join first. Or you want to send SMS reminders, 15 minutes before the event to say, hey, we're going to be starting this event soon. So there's using that authentication method and using the applications, it gives you a lot more granular control over how you use the APIs.
So that brings me back around to that just a little bit earlier when I was talking about security with that little bit of sample code that I had. So I was just wondering, are the video feeds secure, and is there something that you can speak on, since I think security seems to be a really big topic right now?
Absolutely, security and privacy are always front of mind
Yeah.
whenever we're talking about our APIs, and I think that's a really good stance to take. Now, Vonage, the video streams themselves have always been encrypted. They have, by default, 128-bit RCA encryption, which runs from the client all the way to our servers, and then from the servers all the way back down to whoever's receiving the media. So it never travels over the internet without being encrypted. We have an additional feature that allows you to switch that up to 256-bit authentication encryption if you feel like that's necessary. And we also have a feature called end-to-end encryption, where you can basically supply your own passkeys that are used to encrypt and decrypt the media. So if you use a pre-shared passkey, then the media will be encrypted from end to end, even when it's passing through the Vonage infrastructure. So that would mean an additional layer of security, because you maintain control of the passkeys instead of allowing Vonage to control those passkeys for you.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that one always seems to be, it always seems to be coming up, and especially as I've been playing with different like AI platforms. I even watched a session. I remember it was a Microsoft build session from this last build that they just had like 2 weeks ago, and one of the persons was working and they were building an app, and they said that AI never accounts for security unless you write it into the project plan, or you use that in your prompts somewhere, that it's
Yes.
trying to get you the MVP of just doing exactly what you're saying. And so anyways, it was pretty interesting. It was like a lessons learned from like building an app using that, and then all of the security holes that was punched open. And for myself, now obviously I'm in the DevRel side of things. In my side of things, I hear a lot of telehealth, and have talked to telehealth that uses video for everything, and that makes a whole lot of sense. In my mind, is there anything else that is there any other industries? Is it like do you think the banking industries? Is there other really big industries that has or that's using video in that sort of manner, like they're using in medical with telehealth, that you know of, Richard?
I think you're right. Telehealth is a really big one, and I think it's really important that we continue to support that, and support the things like the HIPAA compliance and the GDPR and things like that, depending on whereabouts you are in the world, and making sure that our services are compliant so that they can be applied in these telehealth environments. But there are also a number of other verticals in which we operate, and one of the largest ones is the events. Much like we're running this event now, there's lots of events that run through Vonage infrastructure, and there are all sorts of different sort of avenues, also different implementations of ways we use telehealth rather than the classic doctor-patient communications. I've been working with a customer recently that is doing remote view of medical camera feeds. So we're talking laparoscopic cameras, and having that streamed over our network so that they can get live consults from surgeons around the globe during operations. So that's really quite fascinating to see how we make all that work. And yeah, really interesting. Some of the implementations that we have of our certainly our video products that I've seen, really fascinating.
Yes. Hey, I tell you what, while we just talked about some of the security stuff, um, do you want to tell us maybe a little bit more about the application and the private kiosks that we currently have?
Yeah. So when you're in the Vonage dashboard, I don't know if we want to bring it up while I'm talking. You have the option of going through and viewing as you had your API key and your API secret, and then going through into the individual parts of that. But then you also have the option to build applications, and you can see the applications menu there on the left-hand side. And when you build an application, you're not just getting started. You have to think of the application as like a container in which you will put all of these wonderful API services into one box and allow them to be used with the same application ID and the same application private key. So, and what you do is you not just when you create an application, you tell it then which API services you want to use, and you can add and remove them at any time. So, for example, the example I gave earlier was you might want SMS and video, so that you can have a video event where you can send SMS reminders. You might want live Q&A to run through your session, and then you might want to send surveys via text message after the event, and things like that. So there are lots of different ways you can configure your applications. And as I said, the application is like a configurable container in which all of your APIs will operate, including video and messages and voice and all of these things, so that you can get everything to run under one roof. And you can just switch them on and off. As you can see on screen there, you've got video listed there. And if you turn them on, you've got the configurable options there. And these allow you to, for example, as you can see on screen, you've got the callback URLs so that you can get information from the messages when they arrive to send to your server. The same thing is available for video when you want things like updates on when someone joins a session or leaves a session, or when a session is archived and when the archive is finished recording. It's these kind of things you need to know about on your platform, and those are all configurable in this window here.
Yeah, they really are, and it's pretty easy to kind of get started with this. And you can do some like local host, and also there is a ton of examples of like using each and every one of these. Each one of these you'll find has different webhooks that comes back on it. So obviously it wouldn't make sense to have like an answer URL on a messages, since that is an actual voice call. And then down here for video, you can see there's lots of different callbacks here. Session monitoring, it kind of goes all the way down to captions, to the SIP, monitoring, recording storage. This is one that I think has come up a few times before.
Yeah.
Access all, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we've the default option is for us to retain the recording for 72 hours. So you can go through and download it from our platform, or you can upload it to your own cloud storage. So you have those options available there. Yeah, just looking through, you can see that there's a huge number of different ways that you can implement the video APIs. Just looking at the different callbacks that are available. One of my favorites at the moment is the Experience Composer, which I work with a lot. And we have a lot of customers that use the Experience Composer. And what it basically is it's a virtual attendee to your event. It runs in a virtual browser on our platform. It can run your own application in that browser window, and it captures the entire application window and then allows you to retransmit that or archive that or broadcast that. So it can be used for really advanced layout features and functionality, and adding different content as well as video into your platform. So I think the Experience Composer is one that customers are really getting a lot of use out of, because you can effectively use it to completely shape and control how things are recorded or rebroadcast from the video streams that you have.
Yeah. That's really interesting. And when I was just looking at this down here, um, you can use your Amazon S3 bucket, or you can use Azure if you would like to. And then down in here, it looks like this is where you can add. Let's see. Let's close. I was going to say it looks like you can add in different types of, like, there's your video, your preferred video codec here. So
Yep.
VP8, VP9, or H.264.
Yes.
I think folks sometimes look for those. I know I remember having a question about that before somewhere. And yeah, that seems pretty cool that you can switch that out and you can use your own. Let's just close that one. Okay, so let me do this. Let me take a quick peek back over here into the question feeds, and let's see here. Um, oh yeah, we should have this one. What debugging tools are available for the video API today?
Okay, so there are two primary, I guess, debugging tools. Certainly that I use in my role in support on a daily basis. The first one of those is the video inspector, and it allows you to go in, and for any session ID that you've generated, you can go and view things like the number of attendees, view the bitrate and packet loss details for those individual streams, and go through and look at the event logs throughout the session to see what happened. So if you had an issue, say one person's audio wasn't working or someone got dropped from a session, you can go through and see things like, you might see a spike in packet loss before they disconnect or something like that. So you can see what could be potential issues there. Yeah, that's the inspector link there. I don't have a video to hand, a session ID that we could look at. Maybe that's something we can pull up for next time.
Yeah.
And then the other tool that I use a lot, and I use a lot with customers because they have access to it as well, is the video playground. And you kind of touched on that with SMS, how you could go through and send SMS through the platform, and you can send verify messages and authentication through the platform for testing. And the video API playground is just like that. It has access to almost all of the video features that we have available, and you can create sessions, create video content, you can publish video, and you can look at creating. We could have a full-blown conference with this video API playground. So you can have you can do all of the things that you need to do in order to test our API products and features, including things like you got one-click recording, you could broadcast to YouTube, you can do all of these sorts of things with the video API playground. It's a very comprehensive tool that allows us to quickly debug potential issues. And I've had times where I've been able to replicate issues with the playground, and times where I been able to get customers who find that they don't have issues when they use the playground, which kind of indicates the issue might be in their code. So it's a very good debugging tool. So it's and that's something you need to know where a problem lies in order to start knowing where to look. And so having something like that where you can quickly go through and run some tests, share some screens, or publish some video and some media is really important, certainly for me on a day-to-day basis working with video API customers.
Yeah, and it looks like it's pretty easy to get started. And I did notice that you can actually just go to this tools.vonage.com, and then there is video playground, and that under this there is these four um, items here. So the inspector, the playground, these are the ones you were talking about. Then there's this pre-call test, and then there's an archive inspector. Do you ever use
Yeah.
these?
So yeah, the pre-call test is one that is available to customers as well. And what that is something. So, for example, you're about to join a live event on our platform, and you're a bit worried that your network might not be up to scratch, or you've had some problems. You can go to the pre-call test, and it will run through a video communication, an audio communication test, and then give you some feedback as to what level of kind of quality you can expect over that session from your device where you are. So it's a pre-event checklist of everything works, so therefore you should be good to go. Or your bit rate's a bit low, you might want to use lower resolution. These sorts of things. So that's what the pre-call test does. And the archive inspector allows you to do the same thing as the session inspector, except for specifically for recordings. So you can go through and look at recordings and segments that have been recorded on video. You can look at who was sharing media at any given time during the course of a recording, and you can also check things like the recording logs and recording status as well.
Wow. Okay, so it seems like there's a lot that's kind of in there. I do like this right here, the video API basics, some tutorials that you can jump straight into, and also what you can do with all of this. One other kind of little key thing is that you can come in here and you can see these are like creating a basic video capture, um, creating a video chat application. And also, you could go, if you want some other kind of like little tutorials, you can come over here to the blog, and we'll give the blog just a second to return. And then from here, just so you know, there is a couple of different things that you can search for. You can click this little drop down box here, and you can switch to whatever language that you would like to know about. Even that MCP stuff that I was talking about a little bit earlier. Here is where you can get all of the different MCP related content that we've been doing since basically September. But also, what's kind of cool in here, since we're talking about video, you can come back over here to the products, and you can go video API. And then once you do that, you can see all kinds of movement that's been happening over the last couple of weeks and months. And so this is another really good kind of neat place if you want to kind of get up and started, and also just see some samples that people have been building. So this is another one that was built, and yeah, it's kind of, they just walk you through everything step by step. And that with most of all of these, there is always a prominent GitHub repo that's accompanied with the blog post. And so if you come back over here and you go to, I just clicked on this link, we have a Vonage community. And so this is that blog post where they were using Flask in Vonage. And so you could just run right through these instructions, or go through these instructions here, and you would have the source code to that. And again, you can come up here to Vonage community if you want to get a lot more details kind of out of that.
And one thing I like about it as well is that the Vonage blog isn't just for those few people that can write blogs. Anyone within Vonage, if they have an idea, they can contribute. And I think I've got one still on there that I wrote for creating a virtual green screen with our video APIs, which is a really interesting experiment. So yeah, those kind of things. It's really good because you get, we've all got great ideas, and some of the ideas are worth sharing. So yeah, I love the fact that we'll accept blog post entries and drafts from anyone within the business, and there's all sorts of content that's come through from that.
Yep. Okay, so here's one more we've got. My SMS isn't being delivered. What's the best way to debug it, or where do I go and check and see what is happening? So, first off, there is a delivery receipt webhook. If this is SMS, I believe. So let me go here and let me go to applications and let's go down. Oh, I think this account by default is using the messages API. Let's see. Let's just try something. Let's go. I want to give you a good answer, so hopefully I can. Let's go cancel, and we are going to come back to messaging. And first off, let me go into the logs and see if we've got any logs that we can take a quick peek into. So here is the SMS, send an SMS. So let's send one. Let's send a test one first so we can have some data. So I'm going to send a test message and hopefully that goes out. And then once that does, I'm going to scroll down and I want to go to logs. So I needed to go up. So I'm going to go to logs. I'm going to go to SMS logs. And I don't know if that message sent or not. It looks like it did. So right here is that log. So you can see there is a message ID that has been sent. And then right here, it has the price, the time received, and then the delivery status of that. So you can come in here and you can get a quick view if you want to see kind of what that looks like. Again, you can download these reports or you can export these, but this message ID to kind of be the most, trying to give you the most easiest answer, the message ID is what I typically use when I'm trying to troubleshoot and figure out why a message didn't send. For the most part, I will say most of you probably more might be getting hit with 10 DLC. 10 DLC was like a regulatory thing that happened, oh, I guess a long time ago now, maybe a couple of years. I don't know. I think it may be even longer than that. But anyways, your phone number, in order to prevent spam, it's basically got to be registered. Now, by default, when we set you up with a new account, it already does have the 10 DLC assigned to it, from what I understand. But after that, you should be able just to get up and go. And if you've got a brand new account, but if you've got an older account, maybe that's been lying dormant, more than likely it's not going to have the 10 DLC in order to send that message properly. The other thing that I was just going to call out is that if you do go back into the applications here, and let's just create a new application. And I thought there was one that had SMS down in here, and I was going to say that with SMS there is a let me see if I can fix it real quick. There is a way that you can, here it is. So right here is the messaging type. So there's two different messaging types. So the SMS API is kind of like the classic, like it's a very simple way to receive and send SMS messages. Whereas like the messages API is like a unified channel. It supports SMS, WhatsApp, RCS if you want to use Viber, and then now the latest is email. So, for example, if you really just want everything to go through one interface, the Messages API is recommended, and that's why it's set to that. But just to try to answer this question, I'm going to switch it back to legacy, and I'm going to come back over here to applications because I think this will work. Nothing like a live show to see if it works or not. And I thought that there was a SMS one under here, and apparently there isn't. Um, Yeah. I don't know where that's at. I tell you what, that's something I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on, but I thought that that would have showed it. Oh, it changed it back. Oh, interesting. Switch me. Let's see what happens. Oh, I didn't save it. That was why. Sorry. Let's try this. And I'm going to switch that real quick. And now we're going to go back to applications. And we're going to go back up here to the top and create. And I still don't see it. Okay. Well, anyways, I'll have to dig into that. But yeah, there is a webhook that you can subscribe to for SMS legacy related stuff. Um, and I've got some documentation that also I can find in order to help you with that. Okay. Um, let's see here. Let me go back and okay. I do not see any questions in the chat left here, so we've only got a few more minutes. So I think what we'll do is we will give it a second or two, and then if we don't have any more questions, then we will jump off. Hey, here is one quick one. Um, Richard, how does billing work for video? And you are muted.
Of course I am. Yeah, you'd have thought a video API support engineer would have noticed that.
No worries.
So we build based on participant minutes, and that means that for every person or device that you have that is participating within a video session, then for every minute they're online, that counts as one participant minute. And you can see over on your screen, you've got 100,000 video test minutes to use across our different products when you sign up for a new account. And if you have, for example, there are two people, Michael and I, on this call, that's 2 minutes per minute, right? So that's 2 participant minutes. Now, Michael's also sharing his screen, but that doesn't increase the number of participants because it's coming from Michael's device. If he had a different laptop and he was sharing the screen from a different device, then that would create an additional participant. So then we also then have archive minutes at either HD or standard resolution, and we have connector minutes, captions minutes, and experience composer minutes we've got down at the bottom there. So there are lots of different types, and everything's done in the minute. I believe they're all prorated, so it is down to the second. But yeah, so if you've got 10 people on a call for 10 minutes, then that would be 10 people for 10 participant minutes is 100 of your participant minutes. That's if everyone is streaming at the same time. Now, in order to count as a participant, you have to either be sending media into a session, like publishing your camera, like Michael and I are now, or you have to be receiving media. So if you're not sending or receiving media to a session, then you are not considered to be a participant in that session.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, well, I believe we are at the end of the hour here. So let me do a few slides here. First off, let me say thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing questions. Absolutely happy to have you. This has been really, really good. A couple of quick things just to end with here. The first one is that you absolutely should stay connected with us. We have a developer newsletter that is available that goes out monthly, that has all of the content and the work that we've been doing, events and so forth. We have a couple of different social media presences, so Twitter and YouTube, as well as we have a LinkedIn developer page, which is has all of our dev stuff on it. It's another kind of like one shop place to go. And so, if you do want any of the links to all of these, we'll be distributing these, and also I put in the description. And I'll put all of the links that I've just shared in the chat during the session in the description of this video, where others hopefully can get some use out of this session today. Okay, well, with that being said, I just want to say thanks again to everybody, and thanks again to Richard for taking his time to join us today, as well as Lucinda for doing a great job setting up the webinar for us and just making this run so smoothly. So anyways, thanks to the team here and thanks to you, and we will see you on the next one. Michael out. Bye-bye, everyone.
See ya.